Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Levi Omagbemi. In this video, I want us to look at a very important concept in CSS called the CSS box model. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it. Alright, so I've created a folder somewhere in my computer, and inside that folder, I have an HTML file and a CSS file. And if you look at the HTML file, I just have a body tag and then a paragraph tag inside the body tag. And if you go to my CSS, you can see this styling here. Now, you might be seeing this styling for the first time, or you have seen this styling before, but probably you don't know what this styling does completely. Now, whatever the case may be, don't worry, I'm going to explain what this styling does in detail. So the first thing you want to do is to preview this web page on the browser. So you can do that anyhow you want. You can open it from your file system, but I'm just going to go ahead and use an extension called Live Server to run it. So anytime I make changes, I don't have to reload manually, and can go to the extension tab to install that extension. So if I click on F12, this will open up my developer tools on Chrome, and I think this command works for Windows. And my focus is going to be on this box here. This box shows the hierarchy of the margin, border, padding, and the actual width and height of an element. And this box is what we call CSS box model. So another way you can open your developer tools is by just right clicking and click inspect to inspect the web page, and then it opens up the developer tools. Or then you can click on this menu here, go to more tools, and click on developer tools, and then you can also see this box, and you can see your element, your console for debugging JavaScript, sources, network. All these are just tools that helps you with developing your web page. So my focus is on this element tab. Now, if I place my mouse on this innermost box here, you can see it's showing us the actual width and height of the element. That's why you can see that blue box around it. And you can see I'm currently on the body tag. If I place it now, you can explicitly see the width and height. We have a width of 630 pixels and a height of 54 pixels. So if I go to the paragraph, of course, we have the same. So I want to walk you through what those lines of CSS code does. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go back to VS Code, go to my CSS, and then I want to comment this code out and save and go back to my Chrome browser. And then you see there's a default margin of 16 pixels on the top and bottom of the paragraph. Now, if I should take this paragraph and say paragraph margin, because Chrome does not have a default padding, but probably other browsers might have. I'm going to say margin 8 pixel. And what do you think this will do? Let's check it out. So this is actually going to override the padding, the margin rather, sorry about that, the margin of 8 or 16 pixel we have to be 8 pixel. But then you can see there's a space on the left and right. So let's look at the body. Let's go into the body now. And that's because in the body, there's this margin of 8 pixels around the body, top, right, bottom, left. So for it to be very clear to you, I'm going to change the padding here to 4 pixels because that looks like a conflict somehow. So the paragraph now has a margin of 4 pixels and the body has a margin of 8 pixels, not because we're adding it, but by default, the browser is adding it. Okay, so that's why we use this line of code here, because when you don't remove the default margin and padding, it can be hard to predict when you're actually styling your your elements when you add margin, and how come there's this extra margin and padding. So if you don't know that before, now you know this is what you have to do. And we're actually using a universal selector because we don't just want to apply this to the body, but we want to apply it to all the elements, even if when we add margin, it's going to override it. But let's just clear everything from the beginning so we know we're starting from scratch. It's a good practice. So I'm going to save this, and if I go back, you see we no longer have that default margin of 8 pixels around the body, and then of course our margin of 4 pixels remain. So what does box sizing content box does? So for the box sizing property, there are actually two values. We have border box and content box. So I'm going to show you what content box does first, and then I'm going to show you what border box does. So let's add a width of 500 pixel for the paragraph. Let's add a height of 500 pixel also, and let's do background color, not capital letter now. Background color, let's do blue, and then let's make the color white so the text can be visible. And then let's add padding. Let's do padding of 16 pixel. Let's just do 8. Let's do 8 pixel. And let's do border. We're going to say border solid. Let's do 4 pixel, and let's say black. Save, and I'm going to add a margin of 16 pixels instead of 4 pixels, and just save this again. Let's go back to our browser so you can see the black border around it, and you can see the padding inside. But then what I want to point out is that the margin, even though it wraps around the element, is actually outside. This box here is showing you the hierarchy of the margin, the border, and the padding, and the main width and height of an element. So the margin is outside, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying the margin is outside when we change box sizing to border box. So you can see the border and you can see the padding. Notice that the space of the padding is still within the box. That's why you can see the color, the blue color around that space. You can see the blue color, the blue background color we've added around that space. And then this is just the width. So if you don't specify, if you don't say padding top, padding bottom, padding left, and you just do padding or margin like this, it's going to add it to the four sides of the element. You can also say padding 8 pixels. So it's actually like this. So I'm going to write it top, right, bottom, and left. So this is the syntax, the shorthand notation for doing this. You can look it up on MDN or W3 schools. But I'm just going to leave it as padding 8 pixels for the first side. Now let's change this to border box so we can see what happens. Let's change box content box to border box and save this. Now let's go back and watch what happens. We still have our margin, of course, our padding, and our border. But did you notice that the width and the height of 500 pixels we assigned to the paragraph reduced? Did you notice? It's no longer 500 pixels for both the width and height. It's now 476 pixels. So what's happening? So I'm going to show you what's happening. It's compressing the padding left and right into the width, meaning it's going to add the left and right value of the padding and subtract it from the width. It's going to add the top and bottom value for the padding and subtract it from the height, and it's going to do the same for the border. But The margin is excluded out of this equation. It's excluded. That's why I said it's outside. So let's do this calculation. So I'm going to, let's see, I have a calculator here. So I'm going to open my calculator. Come on. My PC is being very slow here. Open, 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 open. All right. So I'm going to say 8 pixels. Let's calculate for the width first. But whatever calculation we make for the width equates to the calculation for the height. Okay, so let's do 500, which is the value for the width or the height. And let's say minus 8 times 2 for the padding, either top, left, right, or bottom. Left and right for the width and top and bottom for the height. And let's say minus, oh, I think that calculation is wrong. So let's do it this way. Let's just do 8 times 2 equals to 16 plus 4 times 2. What am I doing? But left and right is 16, of course, and left and right for the border is 8. So 16 plus 8 will actually give us what? 20. Is that correct? 16 plus 8. 16 plus 8, that's not 20. You see, I'm not good at math. That's 24. So let's do 500 pixel minus 24. So that's 476 pixels. So it's going to do the same for the top and bottom and subtract it from the height. And same goes for the border. You see, it's adding the left and right of the border, subtracting it from the width, the left and right of the padding, subtracting it from the height, and same goes for the top and bottom. But if I go back and change this to content box, you see it's now 500 pixels and still adding the padding, the border box, and of course the margin is excluded from the equation. But why should you use border box over content box? So border box, why should you use border box over content box? That's because if you add this in total, so if we go back to our calculator and say 476 plus 8 plus 8, I think that's better, plus 4 plus 4, it's going to equate to 500. So what this does is that it compresses the height, the width, the padding, and the border to form the overall width and height of the element. So that way, if you are adding padding and margin and define your height or width, it makes your styling predictable. There's not going to be an additional space. Everything is going to fit into the specified width you have assigned. So that's the concept of CSS box model. Always remember that the margin is excluded and the left and right padding or border is subtracted from the width, and the top and bottom border or padding is subtracted from the height. So if you have learned something from this video, I want you to share this video with your friends. I want you to click the like button, and I want you to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification so you get notified anytime I upload a new video on this channel. So thanks for watching and see you next time.